In 2019 at Jaws in Hawaii, Nathan Florence paddled into a very large breaking wave during a major swell. Years earlier in Tahiti, a paddle and ride at Teahupo'o had already marked him among surfers chasing the heaviest reef waves. Around 2022 and 2023, massive sessions in Ireland and Portugal pushed that focus even further and drew structured recognition. His surfing centers on heavy waves and documented risk. Let's follow how repeated decisions to pursue dangerous slabs and outer reefs reshaped his role in big wave surfing. Nathan Florence was born on June 10, 1994, on Oahu's North Shore in Hawaii. Growing up near Haleiwa around that time, he spent his childhood surfing beach breaks and reefs that regularly produced powerful waves. He trained in currents, shore break, and shallow reef zones. The environment created clear physical limits and frequent chances for minor injuries. Early paddle sessions built endurance and basic ocean awareness. Each winter reinforced those skills. His surroundings steadily directed him towards serious, high-impact surf. By his early teens in the late 2000s, Florence was already surfing heavier reef breaks along Oahu's North Shore. He entered youth events while also paddling into days that many older surfers treated cautiously. Competition results mattered less than time spent in strong surf and challenging lineups. He followed older surfers into more demanding zones and pushed his range. The reef demanded precision. Mistakes produced fast, harsh consequences. Each local winter gave him another cycle of big wave practice and survival lessons. Around 2015 at Teahupo'o in Tahiti, Florence paddled into a deep, wide barrel that later drew strong reactions from experienced surfers. The wave broke over extremely shallow reef, with the lip pitching far out in front of him. Coverage later highlighted how far behind the peak he started and how critical the entry was. The line he chose left little margin for adjustment. One error there meant direct contact with the reef. Some commentary called it a standout paddle wave at the spot. The ride sharply expanded his reputation. On a Friday the 13th swell at Teahupo'o in Tahiti in the late 2010s, he returned for another run at Giant Surf. Swell reports documented solid, long-period waves unloading directly onto the reef. Florence shared the lineup with a tight crew of specialists focused on the heaviest sets. Every takeoff carried real injury risk. Wave selection was critical on every attempt. One mistake meant heavy impact and long hold downs. These sessions confirmed his commitment to that specific, hazardous left. Teahupo'o became a recurring priority in his seasons. Around this period, he began chasing remote slabs, including trips to Shipstern Bluff in Tasmania and other heavy reef breaks. Those waves combined step-like faces with unpredictable boils, making falls especially punishing. Florence approached them as laboratories for positioning, board choice, and timing. The reefs left visible marks on boards and sometimes on bodies. Each successful ride built technical confidence in irregular walls. Failure was common and expected. This travel phase shifted him from a single region schedule to a multi-region search for dangerous, high-consequence waves. On December 12, 2019, during a major swell at Jaws on Maui, Florence paddled into one of the tallest waves of the day. That ride became an entry in a global big wave award program the following year. The documented face height placed it among the standout waves of that event. He stayed on rail through the critical section and completed the ride at full speed. Judges and commentators took note. The nomination formalized his status in big wave surfing. It moved him from notable talent to consistent contender. In 2020, as that Jaws ride circulated online, Florence continued refining his preparation in Hawaii and on the road. Training clips showed breath hold work, equipment testing, and careful analysis of fins and board volumes. Sessions often focused on repeating difficult entries until they felt reliable. His approach stayed centered on paddle entries into big waves rather than relying mainly on tow sessions. Paddle focus left fewer escape options on big sets. Paddle surfing offers less external assistance and a smaller safety margin. It also places surfers deeper into impact zones during mistakes and hold downs. By 2021, his personal video channel on a major platform was documenting nearly every significant swell chase. Episodes followed him from Hawaii to Tahiti, Europe, and various slabs in a near-continuous cycle. View counts and subscriber numbers rose steadily over that period. Viewers saw full sessions, including wipeouts, misreads, and close calls, not just highlights. Every new swell chase added more public scrutiny and expectation. It also created pressure to keep traveling to intense waves and accepting more exposure. His online presence turned big wave projects into an ongoing, traceable public series of attempts and results. During the 2022 to 2023 Northern Hemisphere winter in Ireland, Florence scored a major backside barrel at Mullaghmore Head. The wave came during a documented large swell that also attracted other international big wave surfers to the same reef. Coverage showed him drawing a high line through a tall, thick section and exiting cleanly. The barrel length and height were obvious on replay. Later that year, a reworked Big Wave Award event recognized the ride with multiple honors. The Irish reef had delivered a turning point. Results were measurable, public, and added to his growing record. In the same 2022 to 2023 season, Florence spent extended time at a notorious right-hand slab in Ireland. Swell reports and video clips recorded repeated attempts at late takeoffs, deep barrels, and airs. Falls there led directly onto very shallow rock and heavy foam ball impact. Safety teams stayed close on skiffs and monitored each set. Each mistake there carried direct collision risk with exposed rock. He kept using the spot to repeat difficult entries and test different approaches under pressure. Successful links reinforced his technical range and willingness to repeat high-risk attempts. Portugal's Nazaré played a central role around 2022 and 2023 in his schedule. During tow and paddle sessions at Praia do Norte, Florence rode waves that reached documented heights among the largest of those winters. The underwater canyon at Nazaré funneled Atlantic swells into steep, shifting peaks that required constant repositioning. Rescue craft were essential on every session, with teams tracking riders through heavy whitewater. Big Wave Awards later credited him with a biggest wave designation for one of those rides. Wave scale became a defining factor in his public profile. On October 29, 2023, a revamped Big Wave Prize ceremony in Nazaré named Florence Surfer of the Year for the 2022 to 2023 season. The same structure also honored his Mullaghmore barrel and other rides in separate categories. These were judged on wave size, commitment, and overall performance through the season. Numbers and clips supported the verdict and were widely shared. It was an accumulation award. Multiple sessions across regions added up to a single prominent recognition. The season tied his name directly to global big wave performance discussions. In 2023 and 2024, Florence continued returning to Teahupo'o, including a widely discussed swell in April that produced chaotic, wind-affected barrels. Long online edits showed him navigating challenging paddle outs, strong currents, and warping sections on the ledge. The waves were not clean for every surfer and produced many failed rides. Many attempts ended in heavy wipeouts. Yet he repeatedly committed to takeoffs behind the peak and in critical zones. Equipment choices evolved with thicker, refined boards designed for control under heavy load. The Tahitian Reef remained a main testing ground for heavy tubes and extreme paddle entries. By mid-2020s winters in Hawaii, Florence was also exploring outer reefs off Oahu during large swells. These breaks sit farther offshore and handle bigger wave faces than many shore access spots, which increases rescue distance. He used skiffs mainly for safety, positioning, and logistics, while still favoring paddle entries whenever conditions allowed. Friends and fellow surfers often remarked on his readiness for marginal wind-affected conditions. Outer reefs carry clear risk if a surfer is injured or held down. Rescue response times are slower and more complex there. Each successful session led to more days spent in even more remote areas. In 2024, commentary about modern surf media highlighted Florence as an example of a big wave surfer building direct audience connection through his own channel. Analysts noted how he broke down boards, training, and decision-making in simple language. He often explained why certain waves were unrideable or unsafe on a given day, even during headline swells. Clear explanations helped viewers understand why certain waves were too dangerous. It turned complex, dangerous sessions into understandable sequences for non-expert viewers and aspiring surfers. His communication style made high-level risk management more visible to a wide audience. An article in October 2024 described Florence as one of the leading specialists in heavy slabs and big waves, noting his moves between Tahiti, Ireland, Portugal, and outer reefs in Hawaii. Around the same period, a major energy drink company added him to its athlete roster. The partnership aligned with his global travel schedule and project plans in those locations. Sponsorship helped stabilize logistics and support frequent, long-distance trips. Backing made it easier to chase distant, heavy swells regularly. He continued targeting the heaviest available swells in each season. Over time, Nathan Florence's actions shifted from local North Shore sessions to a tightly focused pursuit of heavy slabs and big wave reefs across several continents. He is differentiated by a documented emphasis on paddle entries into consequential waves, combined with consistent public breakdowns of his process through his own channel. The scale and risk of the waves he chooses, together with that visibility, have fixed him as a central figure in contemporary big wave surfing. Viewers who like and subscribe help ensure they see what comes next.